Have to be honest, I laughed out loud after the 60 Minutes interview featuring Marjorie Taylor Greene, looking at the reaction. Complicit. Oh my God. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is famous not because she was on 60 Minutes, because she has accumulated political power in the United States. And apparently, according to 60 Minutes, the people of her district are very, very happy about their choice and the work she's doing in Washington, D.C. Speaking for the rest of us, or at least many of us, I think what we'd like to say to those people are none of you are pulling your weight, being good citizens and doing what you're supposed to be doing by sending this imbecile to Washington, D.C. to represent you, to divide the country and do all sorts of vandalism. She's like a person loose with a can of spray paint, just gratuitously doing damage. And I guess in her case, because she doesn't know any better. The interview with 60 Minutes was revelatory and thus an important work of journalism. Marjorie Taylor Greene has real political power because the Republican majority has come to power and because the Speaker in name only, Kevin McCarthy, relied on her to help quell the insanity within the caucus among Matt Gaetz and others where she has real influence. You see, Marjorie Taylor Greene is something of a performance artist, whether she knows it or not. She's gained fame on Fox News and Newsmax and across CPAC and all of these places. She's found herself on center stage at the center ring at that confluence point in American life where politics and mental illness come together. Conspiracy theories, fake news, propaganda, and the internet all combine in this toxic stew of know-nothingness that produces great grievance, anger, and conspiracy. Marjorie Taylor Greene's like a person who didn't know very much. And then one day in her early 40s, it all became clear. The puzzle was solved by Q. She talked about that, QAnon, how she went down the rabbit hole. Well, she's not there anymore. She's at the right hand of the Speaker of the House, influencing American policy. And you heard her. She thinks Democrats, tens and tens of millions of her fellow citizens, Americans, are child molesters, pedophiles. She believes in Jewish space lasers. She's a conspiracy theorist, a certified loon. We knew all of that before the 60 Minutes interview, but we learned something else also. We learned how angry she is. You could see it smoldering. You could see the rage in her eyes. You could see how deeply, deeply angry she was when Leslie Stoll read back her own words to her and held her to account. She felt humiliated, embarrassed, aggrieved. She's a $12 million victim. That's her net worth. That's another piece of news from the 60 Minutes interview. How wealthy, powerful, privileged Marjorie Taylor Greene was. Marjorie Taylor Greene is somebody who found self-confidence and community in her early 40s through CrossFit. And then she found all the answers through QAnon. She combined the ethos of CrossFit with the ideology of QAnon and turned it into MAGA discipleship. And now she's one of the leaders of the movement. It was important for 60 Minutes to give Marjorie Taylor Greene the spotlight for 15 minutes, to ask her some questions, to show who she is. And the American people should have seen something, a reflection of themselves. Millions and millions and millions of Americans look at this person, imbecile though she is, and see a political leader. They see somebody who can give them justice, somebody who they believe will fight for them. She's the perfect congresswoman for the internet age, for the era of the reality show. She's her own walking reality show, but she doesn't have to chase down the controversies anymore. They walk into her office because there she sits under the Capitol dome, a member of the United States Congress, weighing in on issues of war and peace. Incredible. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand why the world will be so much more dangerous if the Russian boundary is pushed 1,000 miles to the west. It doesn't matter, though. In the end, Marjorie Taylor Greene is here to stay. She's made that clear, and so is her district, and so is the Republican conference. And so long as they hold the majority in Washington, D.C., the majority is held by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And last night, you saw the hollowness of a person who doesn't read, doesn't know much, beyond the internet conspiracies, beyond the CrossFit ethos, beyond what Kevin McCarthy tells her to do. Because he gives her the one thing that she craves more than anything else. He takes her seriously and gives her respect. And besides her eyes and those flashes of anger, that's the important takeaway from last night. Marjorie Taylor Greene fits perfectly inside the Trump bubble, the politics of vengeance. That's what Trump is calling for. That's what's at hand. And that's what the MAGA ideology has become. I'm not sure who Marjorie Taylor Greene is so angry at, why her grievances are so high. She's worth $12 million and lives on a beautiful 10-acre estate, apparently. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is angry. 60 Minutes showed that. And that's what makes that an important piece of journalism.